last one of 2024 pickle.
That is correct.
We're this is it after this. Oh,
I lost internet,
oh, we're good.
so we're working on it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into the pre-show for the free show. I'm Greg Tepper with a voice. Hey,
Shocking.
what a honestly a big upset and a big win for the culture that I was able to keep a voice for 4 days at UIL State Championships.
Well,
Touch and go there for a minute, but we good?
yeah, it's me.
See, this is what
Testing.
happens when
Ha.
we
This
when
is
we
what
take
happens when
apart-
we move the whole entire studio.
move the
Now we're
studio, we
back.
put it
We've
back
never been
together
more back.
30 minutes. We do have a special guest in the studio, and I want to make sure we don't waste any time. It's a face that you may not have seen before. This is President Joe Biden. Mr. Oh, I'm sorry. No. We're pleased to be joined by Brian Spraggins. Hello, Brian Spraggins.
Hello, everybody.
Making your broadcast debut.
Something like that.
What would you say is your tie to this program, aside from just being a big fan?
What would you say that you do here?
Greg Tepper and myself are pretty good friends.
It's a great point. People
Um,
do recognize us as good friends.
I like watching football.
You do like you are a ball knower.
I like watching college
Okay.
and high school football.
Mm-hmm. What do you do for a living?
I work at the University of Houston, the
University.
athletic department.
Interesting. Okay, great. Are there any other notable like bio things about your scene?
Can't think of anything.
Okay, that's great. Pickle. As you're adjusting the
Mhm.
stuff.
She's struggling.
Do you know this man?
Never seen him before in my life.
Okay. Am I gonna have to do it? I guess. This is the soon-to-be Mr. Ashley Pickle.
That is correct.
That's right.
Ooh, I don't know if we decided on that name.
No, I
Okay.
think we did.
That's great. You are betrothed to young Ashley, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and you guys are getting married in January.
That is correct.
How are we feeling about that decision?
I feel good. It's coming quick.
Okay.
Be here in less than 30 days.
How? Okay, so you are. How do you feel preparation wise, like as far as this is concerned?
Oh yeah, I'm interested to hear this answer.
Mm.
Preparation-wise,
Yeah.
I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Do a lot of stuff the last couple days. Yeah. Excited.
Okay.
You the holidays and it'll be here.
Okay. So you just had your bachelor party.
I did.
You went to Arizona,
We did.
and you and the boys, because we follow each other on Instagram, because again, good friends. How many holes of golf did you guys play?
We played
Oh my God.
54. Played-
54. So
we played
this.
2 full 18 rounds.
So how much would you say that golf is the key and critical component of you and Ashley's relationship?
She likes to play, which is helpful.
Yeah.
I like to
So-
beat you.
She's never beat me.
It is coming.
Oh,
Give it some time.
Wow,
So
okay.
one of us has been spending 99% of our free time doing wedding stuff, and the other person has been golfing. So I feel like there's a little
Okay,
bit of a
all right,
practice
okay.
disparity
I've been
there.
All right.
Work's been busy. I work in college athletics.
Yeah.
And don't even.
Okay. Also, okay. Here's so this now we're kind of getting to the ground floor of this. What are you actually interested in as far as planning the wedding is concerned? Because I was in a similar spot when I got married eons ago. That there's just a lot of stuff about the wedding that I just don't have an opinion on because I'm just not smart, right? And I think we recognize we understand our strengths here. What were your other things like? I would like to have my voice in the room on that.
I think Ashley's done a great job. I'll say she's done a great job of getting all, majority of everything
Mhm.
situated and
Smart man.
planned out and everything like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think food was a big one.
Absolutely.
Beverages
Uh-huh.
and I think the getaway car.
Getaway car.
He did do that.
I
What do we want to spoil it? Do we want to tell
Nah,
people the
I
getaway
think-
car, or is that a surprise?
That's up to him.
It'll be a surprise.
Okay, love that.
It'd be a
Love that.
surprise.
It's
energy.
good. He did good.
But
Okay.
yeah, no, I think that one and
Is it the Batmobile?
Correct.
I wish.
That'd be
I'll
awesome.
He
tell you- I'll
wanted
tell
a
you
helicopter.
I did.
Okay.
I did want a helicopter.
The way you're phrasing that makes me think it's not a helicopter.
It's not a helicopter.
That
It's not.
sucks.
No, I did look into it though.
Okay.
I did look into it.
We just couldn't figure out how we were going to get back to where we were going.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, hey, go drop us off, and then,
It's kinda-
I
it's-
guess we'll hitchhike back.
I could have called Jerry, I guess, up and asked to borrow his. but,
Great point. Great point.
um,
Tillman Fertitta. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Call Tillman.
Yeah, that'd been. Yeah,
He's got a helicopter, right?
He's got a jet.
I think.
I would presume. I presume every rich person has a helicopter. Okay. Also of note, the wedding's coming up here in mid-January.
Correct.
Also of note, the reason you're here is because we all have a lunch date after this to talk through.
Chili's.
To talk through part of.
All I'm talking through is a triple dipper.
Talk through a lot of the news and notes of the wedding, and that is because I'm going to be officiating the wedding.
That is correct.
Grave
Okay.
mistake on my part.
I was
I
going to
think
say.
it's a perfect.
I was going to say.
Brian
opportunity.
bullied me into this.
Take me through the decision-making process that landed on, of all people in the world, me.
He said, I can do whatever. You can do whatever you want if we have Greg Tepper being the officiant. And so I said, okay.
I don't know if it went exactly like that. I think, well, for anybody who doesn't know, picking an officiant can be hard if you don't know anybody.
True
It's
enough.
kind of hard. So finding somebody that you're close with or friends with and knows you a little bit is helpful. But
Uh-huh.
I think one day Ashley's like, "Hey, Tepper's an officiant, right?" And I'm like, "No, he's not. There's no way." But I think you and I texted or something like that, and you're like, "No, I really am."
Sure enough.
He has the card.
Got the cards in my wallet. I can't pull it out right now, but
So
that's fine. Okay.
I
Like,
don't I don't like where this is going.
I'm just
if
saying-
if he has to think for that long about a question, it's not going to be a good question
Yeah,
for me.
I'm just gonna say this. It's like if you want to run, now's the time.
Okay. I am fantastic, first and foremost. I think we can all three agree on this.
What the other important question, the actual important question here? Have you decided on your shoes for the wedding?
I've got shoes decided for actual ceremony. Yes.
Okay, ceremony
Like
is set.
with what we're wearing.
Okay,
What,
got it.
What I'm wearing with everybody else.
Mhm.
Post ceremony shoes.
Mhm.
We've sent a lot back and forth.
We've got some ideas. Don't have anything finalized,
Okay.
but I've got some
Okay.
we're looking at.
Last question for you. Traditionally, in American culture, the woman takes the man's last name. She's kind of built a brand around being Ashley Pickle.
Mm-hmm.
How important is it for you for her to be Ashley Spraggins?
Important for me or important for her?
I'm asking you, Brian. This is a question for you. Can you mute your mic for a second, just so we can have some dude time here?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Nobody else but us. But how important is it for you for her to be Ashley Spraggins?
I think obviously with what she's built as her brand, I guess, and what she's done in her profession has been awesome. So I think from a professional world, keeping that is, perfectly fine.
You're good with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So she doesn't, like, when we come back on like January 21st or whatever, and we do TFT, I don't have to introduce her as Ashley Spraggins.
I mean, you can.
I might use that as like a.
Is that when I'm in trouble?
Yeah, I'll be. Yeah, exactly.
You know how a parent
I'll be
usually
like,
says your middle
Spraggins?
name?
Yeah.
Like
That's
when I'm
like,
good,
use
it's Ashley Pickle. When I'm
Yeah.
in trouble, it's Spraggins.
Yeah, that's exactly like use your middle name. Exactly right.
Yes.
That's good.
yes.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I think I don't know. We haven't really talked about it much, but
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
I want to make sure. Is there anything else I need to know about this wedding?
Come ready to have fun.
as long
How
as
do you feel about Pitbull?
Oh, he's so hyped. He could not be
I
more
could-
hyped.
I could deal with a few songs, but not the whole night.
Okay. How do you feel about
Maybe I'm gonna
How do you
run.
feel about NLE Choppa?
I mean,
Let it rip.
I only know like 2 songs.
The only two songs.
They're
worth
the only
knowing.
2 songs that matter.
Yeah. I
He's
think so. I
Brian
think
Spraggins.
think
He
so. I
is
think he's
he is the future Mr. Ashley Pickle. Thanks for joining us on the pre-show, dude.
Appreciate it. This has been fun.
I'll see you at Chili's.
All right.
All right, hit the theme
Can't
expo.
wait.
Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas. It is Texas Football Today, a show one more time in the year of our Lord 2024. My name is Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TexasFootball.com, all the places, or you'll listen to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She is the Duchess of the Dorks, Miss 305, also notably with a voice.
Yeah.
She's Ashley Pickle.
Howdy, friends. I never lost mine. Not even close. Not even close.
The problem I've found is A, I get too excited, and B, I'm too social.
Okay. I would say that we're equally as social. I would say I'm more disciplined at UIL State than you are.
That's
very 100% spot on. Because
that is very fair.
The difference is when games are happening, he's running around talking and yapping to literally everybody. I sit there and I listen to the game so that way I'm not using up all my voice.
Okay.
It's true.
Today is Monday, December 23rd, 2024. A mere 339 days till Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to, do you have anybody you want to wish a happy birthday to?
Well, here, we can do this because we won't have a show between now and then.
Sure. Yeah, if you got any birthdays between now and January 6th when we come back.
Yeah. Happy birthday to Mallory Hartley.
That's right.
December 30th is a big day around these parts, so we're trying to figure out what we're going to do to celebrate that little 5-4 minutes. But happy birthday to Mallory Hartley.
A week from today is her birthday. So happy birthday to Mallory Hartley. Episode 1825. Thank you very much. On today's show, folks, well, that happened. The 2024 UIL Texas High School Football State Championship games are in the books, in the pocket, out of sight, and we will rank them. What we are going to do is we're going to rank then discuss all 12 UIL Texas High School football games from across the weekend, talking the highlights, the lowlights, the mid-lights, the creamy middles.
No.
We'll get into all that on this very brief podcast. The final show of 2024. We're all taking off after today. We will be back. Our next show will be on Monday, January 6th. That is 2 weeks from today. But we are going to take some, I'll say this for my team. I won't say it for myself. For my team is going to take some well-earned vacation, some well-earned time off.
Yeah, everybody needs it.
Yes, the team will take some well-earned time off. Your mileage may vary on whether or not I have earned it, but yeah, we're going to rank all 12 UIL Texas High School football playoff or state championship games. Yeah, all 500, 700, whatever games.
No, please, no. I want to get to Chili's.
Do we have first four through the door?
We sure
the
do.
Final of 2024.
It was Ed McElroy, Matt Stepp, Tony Blaylock, and Curtis Thomas. Welcome in, fellas.
Welcome in, friends. We do appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with us, spending a little bit of your time here. As we round out the season. Football season's over.
I know. It's wild.
It
doesn't really hit until we come back in January, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's kind of full steam ahead, especially right now with it being December 23rd.
Yeah. So we will get into it. So here's what we're going to do. Today, we are going to rank all 12 UIL Texas High School Football State Championship games, okay? We're going to go from 12 to 1, and the way that we're ranking it is as a neutral fan.
Correct.
Okay, now these are my rankings, so your mileage may vary. These are my rankings of the 12 games from a neutral fan enjoyment perspective, okay? Look, if you are a Salina fan,
then that was the best game of your life.
I know what your favorite game is, and I know what your number one game is. We're talking from a neutral fan, somebody who's just parachuting in and watching all 12 games. This is what I think were the rankings of the 12 games. We had, I will tell you this, I think we had 3 absolute bangers.
Yes.
We had 2 pretty good games. We had one that I think is right in the middle because it wasn't necessarily all that competitive, but it was wildly impressive to watch. And then the other 6, you kind of had various and sundry mixes of like duds or also just like impressive but not competitive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we will get into all 12 of them. And we have some clips courtesy of our friends at FanDuel Sports Network Southwest of each of the 12 games, and so we will introduce each of them with a little bit of a clip. We will start with number 12.
There we go. Another look at the play. Just never got a hold of it. Had his eyes up and didn't see the ball. Jayton's all over it, and like you said, Colt Gentry picked it up and was free to run.
Good manual dexterity to manage to stay pretty much upright as he scooped it up and then just jogged it in. Officially 7.
Jayton 54, Oakwood 8. It's the 1A Division II state championship game. It was on the very first game, 11 a.m. Wednesday. It feels like 9 years ago.
It really does.
Here's, a small positioning statement.
AT&T Stadium is...
AT&T Stadium is one of the most amazing venues in human history, and also proof that you can get sick of anywhere. By the time it got to like Saturday afternoon, I was like, I just want to like go to my boring house.
You lose track of what time it is.
It's
you
also,
have no idea what time it is.
It's a casino, okay? There's no clocks, and just time elapses. You have no idea what day it is, what time it is, and you just, like, it is wild. But this game happened Wednesday morning, Jayton 54, Oakwood 8. We knew coming into this game that Oakwood was a pretty significant underdog. A remarkable story, a 5-loss team heading into the state championship game. Jayton, that play right there, the fumble recovery for a touchdown by Colt Gentry, that was the backbreaker. Because Jayton got the ball and went down in pretty short order in a 2-play, or rather, they got a stop and then went down and had a 2-play drive to go up 8-0. At that point, Oakwood kind of mounts a drive. And in fact, they get stopped on like the 3-yard line. But then the fumble, Colt Gentry takes it back. And from there, it was kind of fait accompli. Jayton 45s them at halftime. The game ends at the end of the half at 54-8. They score with 58 seconds left to put them up by the requisite 46 points to end it. Your MVP in this one, Sean Stanlin, their quarterback. I thought he was really great in this game.
Yeah, he was. Sean
Stanlin, the coach's kid, was absolutely terrific in this ball game. Defense, Colt Gentry had the, of course, that touchdown or that fumble recovery for a touchdown.
This one was over at half.
It was over at half. I would also just say that, Sean Stanlin, I thought, really broke out. We had kind of targeted Bodie Ham in this game as the player to know. But it was Sean Stanlin who really took this game over. And look, Jayton is, in my opinion, pretty clearly the best team in 1A Division II.
Yes, I think going into this game we knew that. And
also, Oakwood was more or less overmatched in this game.
But shout out to Oakwood for getting there.
A great
That's
season.
Insane. A 5-loss team.
Absolutely.
5-loss team played for a state championship.
Yeah. I mean, they finished with the ultra rare 9-6 record. And what J.J. Johnson and company have done is really remarkable. But Jayton just too much, plain and simple. They were too much in this ball game. They outgained them in this ball game. Actually, not that bad. They only had 213 yards of total offense, but they were efficient. They're extremely efficient. They averaged, 8.9 yards per play.
It's crazy.
Jayton, wildly impressive, deserving 1A Division II state champs. That kicked off the season, or that kicked off the state championships, and it kicked off our countdown of the 12 UIL Texas High School Ball State Championship games. We moved to number 11, and for number 11, we get an opportunity to reconnect with one of our very favorite radio crews. Number 11.
Woodville kicker takes a run at it. Here's the kick. It's going to be caught at about the 5 by Gunsmoke Gage. He takes a run. He's got a gap up the middle. Still on his feet. Gunsmoke Gage now to the 50, the 40, the 35, the 30 to start the second half. Gunsmoke Gage, no flags, just smoke all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Gunner Tigers. And it puts another one on the scoreboard.
No flags, just smoke.
No flags, just smoke. It's Ramblin' Roy Lehman on the Gunner Tigers radio network. They're calling what was the biggest play of the game. It's Gunner 28, Woodville 0 in the 3A Division II state championship game. It's the middle game on Thursday. It's funny. This game was this is the real outlier of the state championship games, I thought. In that and I mean this in a nice way, the first half was real sleepy.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you saw that play right there was the opening kickoff of the second half, and it was 7-0 before then.
It goes to half at 7-0, right? And the only touchdown of that game came in as Preston Tarpley threw a touchdown to Cole Harpole, I should say, for the touchdown. That was really it in the first half. This was a game dominated by the defenses, and specifically, obviously, you see it, the Gunner defense. Gunner only had 205 yards of total offense.
Mm-hmm.
The Woodville defense was flying around. I thought the Woodville defense was spectacular in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But the Gunner defense was even more spectacular. They suffocated Woodville. Woodville, with all those weapons, with Luke Babin, with Tavion Hunter, Dustin Barlow, all the playmakers they've got, they had 147 yards of offense.
That Gunner defensive line, and this is classic Gunner. Small, not very big, but their speed destroyed Babin in the backfield.
So quick. They were living in the backfield there. And it was a wonder to see. This was a game, we've said for a while now that for Gunner, it's easy to get enamored with that pistol option offense. And
it's fun.
It's fun. It's a fun offense. And when it is humming, it is really, really great. But we've also said that the defense has been underrated for this program for years and years and years. And this was their shining moment. They were spectacular against a really fast and explosive Woodville team, and they just put them in the sharpshooter, okay, for 48 minutes. It was masterful defensively. And eventually, Gunner returns that kickoff of the second half, and I don't know about you. You and I were not standing together at this moment. That felt like ball game.
I was I had went to grab a water real fast and was walking into that end zone when he scored, and there was a security guard right next to it that I had been talking to the whole time, and I passed by and I said, "Church."
That's it. That's it.
I was like, that completely. I was like, the machine is online, and there's no turning it off.
Gunsmoke Gage, Mitchell Gage. It's the longest.
Nicknames.
It's the longest kickoff return in UIL Texas High School Ball State Championship history. He takes it back 96 yards. They add on 2 more touchdowns there, including an interception return from Brock Body.
Who was incredible.
He was great. Offensive MVP in this game was, you are listening to live coverage of me figuring out who the MVP was. Don't know.
There's no way to find out.
There's no way to find out. Who could possibly know?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. There's a lot going on. But there were, but what's funny is that this is one of those games where, again, the Gunner offense was not necessarily like rolling in this game, but it did more than enough. And that, I think, is a real credit to the program. And here's the thing. And now, like, we take a step back. It is time to really and truly use the word dynasty. They have won 5 titles in the last 9 years. They have been in 7 title games in the last 9 years. If that's not a dynasty, I don't know what is. Like, I think it has to be a dynasty.
Yeah, they're the team of record in 3A Division 2. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, there's an argument to be made. They're the team of record in the entirety of 3A. They were absolutely terrific in this ballgame, especially defensively. And that is a credit to them. I wish I could find the MVPs. It's not on the box score is the problem. And there were 12 games, guys. I'm sorry. I can't find it right now. I'll find it eventually. So there it is. Gunner wins their 3rd consecutive state championship, the 3-peat, and solidifies themselves as a dynasty. And Ramblin' Roy Lehman.
Incredible.
Spectacular. Number 10.
He said 1.5 was the over-under. I said I actually thought maybe 2. I hedged.
But when you got a guy like this, and that striker read, obviously, and, you know, they had 6 one-play drives. That's why they only ran 17 plays in the football game.
Well,
there was a time of possession 4-1 edge for Whiteface, but Gordon so efficient with what they did.
Yeah, and the funny part is both Rye Reed and Striker Reed finished with 3 rushing touchdowns. And he surpassed him there. They were really close. It was 99 to 91 yards. He just surpassed him to go over a little bit. So, 136 yards rushing. So, impressive.
Gordon 70, Whiteface 24 in the 1A Division I state championship game, the other 6-man football game. It goes to the third quarter.
For 15 seconds.
For
15 seconds.
15 seconds. One play. Before Gordon adds Whiteface to the list of 14 teams at the 45 this year.
That's crazy.
A moment on Whiteface. I think that this is a team that I think because of the way this game ended, people are going to think like was not very good. This is not like, that's a really good football team. That's a really good football team. I can absolutely see how they were 14-0 coming into this ball game. I can absolutely see it. This is the game that, like, I had 6-man people telling me it's like, you just got to watch the machine.
Mm-hmm.
Gordon, pound for pound, is the best Texas high school football team in the state. It is hard to argue.
They're so complete.
I'm not saying that Gordon's going to beat North Crowley.
No.
What I'm saying is that by levels of dominance, that is the best. That is the pound for pound the best Texas high school football team in the state.
And it's because they have 2 of the best, if not the best, players on the offensive side of the ball in Striker and Riley Reed. And then on defense, that defense is suffocating.
That defense
suffocating.
is historic.
Yeah,
okay?
It genuinely is.
It finishes as the all-time greatest statistical UIL 6-man football team, giving up less than 8 points per game in 6-man football. Okay? That defense, they're so fast. They are faster than everyone. And Ry Reed and Striker Reed, they were spectacular. I think they ended up flipping MVPs from the year ago because Ry Reed ended up being defensive MVP and Striker Reed, who had the walk-off touchdown, ended up being offensive MVP. I think you could have moved those guys. I'm not offended by that.
Correct.
You want to flip it? Also cool. That is a 6-man football team that people are going to be talking about for a long, long, long time. They were dominant. Okay? And they took a really good Whiteface team and clobbered them.
Yeah.
Okay? Really impressive. And by the way, we talk about the defense. Pickle, Gordon averaged 20 yards a play.
Light work.
Pickle, Gordon ran 16 plays and scored 70 points.
That's insane.
Pickle, they had a 1-play touchdown drive, a 1-play touchdown drive, a 3-play touchdown drive, a kickoff return for a touchdown, a 1-play touchdown drive, a 3-play touchdown drive, a really clock-churning 5-play touchdown drive, a 1-play touchdown drive, a 1-play touchdown drive, a 1-play touchdown drive.
Yep.
And by the way, Ry Reed, Striker Reed, juniors.
They're coming back.
That is the finest pound for pound high school football team in the state of Texas, the Gordon Longhorns. And now, by the way, for a game we'll talk about in a little bit, the owner of the state's longest winning streak, 30 in a row. And Mike Reed's machine is rolling. Gordon is a shocking football team. Really impressive. Number 9.
Near sideline, he just goes a little whoop. I'm by you. There you go. Good throw and catch there and gets it into the end zone. Takes advantage of Javon Town. Javon Town's doing a night. Can't get to him right there. He ran right by him and can't make up the ground. Touchdown, Salina.
Salina 55, Kilgore 21 for the 4A Division I state championship game. This is the middle game on Friday. And I will say this, that early on, it felt like we were going to get the game we thought we were going to get. Right? In that they started kind of trading haymakers. Salina goes down and scores. Kilgore comes right back. Salina goes down and scores. Kilgore comes right back and takes a lead because of a missed extra point.
Yeah, it was 14-13 at that point.
Salina gets 2 field goals before half, and we go into half at 19-14 Salina. And we're like, game on.
Here we
Game
go.
on. Think that this is going to be a great finish. The second half was an entirely different situation. And it was an entirely different situation because of, well, 2 things. One, the Salina defense bowed up, okay? And they gave up a touchdown when the game was well out of hand
Yeah.
in the fourth quarter.
They kept them scoreless for the quarter and a half.
But in that third quarter,
28-0.
28-0.
Yep.
Luke Biagini gets an interception return for a touchdown. He ends up being the defensive MVP. Folks,
Bo stinking Bentley.
Bo Bentley is him.
King.
Capital H him.
Himothy.
Goodness gracious. Okay? Like, that's my first time seeing him in person.
And it was worth the price of admission. He was so fun to watch.
Guys, that dude rocks. It's the thing that Salina has not had for a while, which is a true blue chip QB1. And they got him. They got him for another year, by the way. But Bo Bentley, goodness gracious, some of the throws that he made and some of the decisions, his ability to maneuver around the pocket, and then whenever he needs to take off and run, he can do it. I made the comparison last week on Tep and Step that he reminds me of Hoss Haney at Aledo.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling pretty good about that comp.
Yeah.
And for Bill Elliott at Salina, what a tremendous moment for him. He is a G.A. Moore guy. He played for G.A. Moore at Pilot Point. He was an assistant under G.A. Moore. And he takes over this program where G.A. Moore left his legacy and gets them back to the mountaintop. And you could tell in the post-game interview how much this moment meant for him. You could tell how much it meant for the community. Great crowd. I think pound-for-pound crowd of the weekend, Kilgore Salina. And you could just tell for Bill Elliott how emotional this was for him. And that was cool to see. From a guy who is
built like a freight train.
Big, strong, like intimidating guy who also, when you get to talk to him, is just one of the nicest dudes you'll ever meet.
But seeing a man that looks like that have a little bit of tears in his eyes it messed up my brain.
It means so much to him.
It was
means
awesome.
so much to that community to get them back to a 9th state championship. And for Salina, they are back on top in dominant fashion. The defense, I thought, is going to go underrated. But this was the Bo Bentley show. This was
Plain and simple.
This was the state getting a close-up of one of the bright young stars in Texas high school football and understanding exactly what a star he is. Bo Bentley, wow.
He's got that dog in him.
Wow. Absolutely fantastic. Salina wins a state championship in 4A Division I. Number 8.
Get Columbus off the field, especially the first half. Schobel started looking left, looking right, going deep, and right there to make the catch inside the 5. Usher climbing the ladder, pulls it in down at the 2-yard line. That one goes for 39 yards. It'll be first and goal for the Cardinals.
Are you not entertained? Adam Schobel just playing a little backyard ball. Go deep, bro. Hits Elijah Usher, who climbs the ladder over the defender.
Columbus 48, Malakoff 14 in the 3A Division I state championship game on Thursday night.
Setting the stage real fast, Malakoff was going into this game with the state's longest winning streak at 31 games.
31 in a row.
Reigning state champs.
I would say if there was a game that did not live up to its expectations,
Yes.
it's probably this. Now, part of that is our fault. We kind of set the narrative on Texas high school football, at least for some people. And we were really excited about this ball game because Malakoff, defending state champs, 31 in a row.
Mike Jones versus Adam Schobel.
looked unkillable, looked unstoppable. I want to start with the Columbus defense here because I think it's going to go overlooked. That this was a Malakoff offense with plenty of playmakers. I think they were nicked up. Jason Tennyson clearly did not have that burst. But Jerian Hall and Mike Jones and all the playmakers they've got, it's a really good Malakoff defense or offense. And that first drive, Malakoff went right down the field and scored a game-tying touchdown to make it 7-7. Six play, 80-yard drive in 2 minutes and 44 seconds, and we are thinking, game freaking on.
The fireworks factory.
This is what we came for.
Yep.
And at that point, Columbus made an adjustment, and they said, all right, we are going to send numbers at Mike Jones. And John Schobel, the linebacker for Columbus, the defensive MVP, and the nephew of head coach Matt Schobel, what they basically told him, we're going to need you to bird dog him. Bird dog Mike Jones. And that changed the game.
Yeah. They let him loose. Like that was one of those where I was sitting there watching, and I feel like I'm kind of numb to the fact, like, oh yeah, it's football. They get hit hard. There was a couple of hits that I was like, I would be terrified.
Yes.
I would be terrified to see John Schobel just absolutely coming at me like that.
He was unleashed, was John Schobel after that first drive. And a maniac out there. Spectacular performance from the defense. And they basically hold them scoreless, more or less, until the game is well out of hand. They scored on the first drive, and they scored on their last drive with 2.5 minutes left in the game, when the game was already well in hand. So the Columbus defense, masterful. Let's talk about the offense. Y'all. We're going to talk about North Crowley here in a minute. But pound for pound, I would be interested in a comparison of North Crowley versus Columbus from a pound for pound excellence perspective. North Crowley probably gets the edge, but I think it's closer than you think because, wow. Okay, Grayson Rigdon, 4 short touchdown runs. He goes over 2,000 yards as a rusher in this game for the season, 119 yards and 4 touchdowns. Braylon Fisher, Camden Pitchford, Elijah Usher, the playmakers they've got on the outside, they've got great receivers. Great receivers. Adam Schobel.
He was just
holy cow.
Every single phase of his game.
Oh my God.
Was spot on.
He looks like he looks like he's built in a lab.
Well, and I think that was part of the narrative that we set was this moment going to be too big for Columbus? It was their first state championship appearance. Grayson Rigdon had been there before, but no one else had. No. Malakoff had just been on that stage last year. They won the whole thing. Does that play into it? They came in like a team that had been there 75 times before. Cool,
calm, and collected, and it started with QB1.
Dropping dimes.
Adam Schobel. I was on the broadcast with Craig, and there were a couple of times during the game where I had to tell the audience, who may not watch a ton of high school football, right? This is high school football's big moment.
Yeah.
I'm telling them, guys, these throws are not normal.
No.
Okay? He is throwing it from one hash to the opposite sideline 15 yards downfield on a rope.
I mean, let's be honest. He looked like a Sunday player. He looked like a Sunday player from the size, the stature, the accuracy, the ability to run out of the pocket. Every single phase of his game looked like he is going to be playing on Sunday.
Like, you could have picked any number of throws. I thought that throw showed like the athleticism of his receivers too, in Elijah Usher and the playmakers they've got. Adam Schobel, my word. I mean, a spectacular performance on the biggest stage to bring Columbus their first ever state championship. And it was a Cardinal coronation, a unbelievable performance, complete performance, clearly the best team in 3A Division I. Clearly. And again, it's worth mentioning, this is a really good Malakoff team.
Yes.
And they just smooshed them. Like, we thought they were unsmushable. And on all phases, they were relentless. It was a lot of fun to watch. And again, sometimes you just sit back and you marvel at the machine. And you go, wow, this is an offense that is in full bloom.
That was one of those that you, like, as a person covering the game, you felt lucky that you were there to be able to watch it. You know, like, that was one that's going to stick with you.
And Columbus gets their first ever state championship, and in front of a really big crowd from down there in Jackson County. I were fired up. And Jackson County, am I getting my... Hold on, did I get that right? No, Colorado County. Ganados in Jackson County.
Get good.
I'm sorry. Colorado County. I don't want people to get mad at me in Columbus. I want to eat shovels. It was a coronation of the best team in 3A Division I and one of the best 3A players we've ever seen in Adam Schobel. And Grayson Rigdon, 4 state championships.
Yep.
Unbelievable performance from Columbus. Number 7.
State champs, the Bulldogs of Carthage High School. With a record
Scott Surratt has done this 9 times before, and this one is extra sweet. With his son at quarterback. Number 10 for Carthage. 28-14 over La Vega. First game of 3 here today in Arlington. Coming up, Kilgore and Salina for a Division I. That's South Oak Cliff and Richmond Randall in the 5A Division II state title game at 7 o'clock. For Shay Walker, Austin Ivan, our entire terrific crew, this is Ted Emmerich saying so long. Stick around for Championship Live. Aaron, Tep, Coach, Pickle, the whole crew right after this.
28, La Vega 14 in the 4A Division II state championship game. A moment on La Vega. I thought they played a whale of a ball game. I thought that going into that game, I thought there was a chance that like they were going to become just the latest in a long line of teams to get launched into the sun by Carthage.
Yeah.
And I thought their defense was really good in this game. Really good.
When we were looking up at the Carthage sidelines in the third quarter, people looked worried.
Yeah.
And it's not because they didn't necessarily have like a firm control of the game at that point. It was because they weren't up by 50 in a state championship game in the third quarter, and they didn't know how to handle that.
This game was 14-7 going into the fourth quarter. Halfway through the fourth quarter, it was 14-7. La Vega and Don Hyde's defense had a great game plan. They came in and they had stomach for the fight, and they were ready to roll. They were ready for a heavyweight fight, and they acquitted themselves exceptionally well. And they got nothing to hang their head about. I was wildly impressed by La Vega. Carthage has KJ Edwards. That's probably just the difference. And that offensive line. I thought the offensive line started leaning on him. And this thing's 7-7 with 4 minutes left in the half. First half. And that's when KJ Edwards does the classic Carthage thing. And it feels like all their running backs do this. Where they run into a crowd, and it looks like they're going to get about 4 yards. And then somehow he spins out of it and goes 86.
Yeah, he squirmed out of it.
And that, to me, was the biggest play of the ballgame. Because that loosened things up and allowed them, hey, we're playing from ahead. We can lean on our defense.
Yep.
Jet Surratt threw a pair of touchdown passes to Junior Henderson down the stretch to really extend it, make it 28-7. La Vega scored on the very last play of the ballgame to make it 28-14 as the final. But the running game with KJ Edwards, and then that defense. Queve Beck, the defensive MVP, an animal.
Yeah.
One of the most impressive defensive performances I've seen in the state championship game in a long time. Queve Beck was unreal in this ballgame. Number 8, I think it was. And they smothered La Vega. And the thing that's most impressive to me about them is that they really bottled up the run game. They had 72 net yards of rushing attack. 72 did La Vega. Okay? They were held at like 210 yards total offense. Wildly, wildly impressive. In fact, they had 208 yards total offense. They averaged 1.8 yards per carry, did La Vega. And that's their whole bread and butter. Like, they have to be able to run the ball with Bryson Rowland. At that point, they sacked Courtney Parr 6 times.
They were in the backfield all the time.
All day. That defense was unfreaking real. And they held them in this game while the offense kind of cracked the safe. And we're like, okay, what's going to work here? And eventually, you're just not going to hold down KJ Edwards for too long. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. He's the offensive MVP. Jet Surratt throws a pair of touchdown passes. And it's 10-0 in state championship games for Scott Surratt. 1 for the thumb, and 1 with his kid at quarterback, which I know is really special. And the GOAT question is now a live one.
Yeah.
Okay? He has more titles than Gordon Wood. And he's 10-0.
That's the thing that pushes it over the top. It's not just the fact that he surpassed, it's the fact that he's never lost one. Ever.
It is the run that they have been on in the last decade plus, 15 years, is unmatched. Okay? Scott Surratt is 233-31. And he has 10 state championships. I want to let's have the argument, and we have a whole offseason to talk about it. But the GOAT conversation is alive here for Scott Surratt. And Darren Preston, their defensive coordinator.
Oh, masterclass. Absolute masterclass.
Spectacular.
He's going to go be a head coach sometime soon.
He might, but he's had offers before.
Yeah. It's going to be the right one.
It's got to be the right one. Unreal. Carthage 10-0 in state championship games. We are halfway through our countdown of the UIL Texas High School State Championship games here on Texas Football Today, our final episode of 2024. Coming up here in just a moment, 6 through 1, the best games of the Texas High School State Championship games. But first, a word from these partners.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
30-yard line, the 20, the 10.
Hey DFW residents, get your grocery essentials in minutes, not hours or days, with Wing Drone Delivery. Forget about last-minute trips to the store when you need things like cereal for breakfast before school, medicine for a cold, or snacks for a movie night. Wing's drones get you quick, no-contact delivery in as fast as 15 minutes. Say goodbye to last-minute grocery runs and say hello to more of your valuable time. Sign up today.
Texas coaches, Coach Brackle here from First Down Playbook. After 25 years as a Texas high school football coach, I understand the time, energy, and commitment it takes to compete at your level. First Down Playbook was created by coaches for coaches to help you vertically line your total program. 1 week free team membership for all Texas high school and college coaches. Let First Down Playbook help give you that winning edge.
Back here on the season finale of Texas Football Today, I'm Greg, that's Ashley. We are counting down the UIL Texas High School State Championship games from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Remember, we are viewing this from a pure fan, like neutral fan perspective. Obviously, if you were a Gordon fan, I am well aware of what the best game of the weekend was for you. This is from a neutral perspective. This is my list, so don't blame Pickle.
Correct.
Or do blame Pickle.
Or not.
We roll on. Number 6.
The screen for Gibson. Through the tunnel. Quentin Gibson has a first down. Gibson to the pylon. It's another touchdown. Quentin Gibson is pure electricity. It's a 2-touchdown lead for North Crowley.
Wow, my oh my. When you have an elite player like Quentin Gibson, you put that out there on the screen. This is a big tight end right there blocking out. Now the offensive line gets in the act. Look at this electricity take off. He knows he's got the end zone. He says, let's just give a little leg lift there. Quentin Gibson, great run there after the catch.
North Crowley 50, Westlake 21 in the 6A Division I State Championship game, the final game of the 2024 Texas High School season, the nightcap on Saturday night. So North Crowley had been hearing all week about this Westlake defense. From who? I don't know.
Who could ever know?
Who could possibly know? Let me tell you something, okay? Before we get into this, I was on the sideline. I was on sideline duty for FanDuel Sports.
Start even further back than that.
Oh, yeah.
North Crowley, our very own Gavin Moritz, who's on our social media team, was allowed to go into the locker room
Super
of
cool.
North Crowley
Really appreciate that.
prior to the game starting so he could hear Ray Gates' speech.
Which, by the way, small note, you can find that speech on our YouTube channel. It's like 9 minutes long.
Watch it.
You'll want to run through a brick wall, so to speak.
You can see why they dropped a 50 burger. But as a part of that, we get a notification in the Slack that Ray Gates played Tepper's picks video in the locker room of him picking Westlake prior to the state championship. They brought in a projector so that they could play the picks video. Rocks. That's the type of pettiness that we enjoy around here.
And I was on sideline duty for, I don't want to make this about me, but I was on sideline duty for the network, and I was hearing it.
I love it.
Hearing it. Including from Eli Reinhardt, their offensive coordinator, who right before half came over and kind of barked at me. He's like, you should have stuck with us. And he's right. Like, I'm wrong a lot, and I was extremely wrong here. I think North Crowley had been hearing all week about this great Westlake defense. And in the words of Michael Jordan, I took that personally because North Crowley went out there and put on one of the most impressive offensive performances we have ever seen in a state championship game.
Literally from the jump.
From the word go.
The first play.
They run a flea flicker to Quentin Gibson for a touchdown. And they ring up more than 600 yards of total offense on a defense that, by the way, just got done squeezing the life out of North Shore. A really good Westlake defense. An elite Westlake defense. And the North Crowley attack goes berserker. Okay? I've been thinking about this a lot over the last 48 hours. I think that's the fastest offense I've ever seen in Texas high school football. From a team speed perspective.
Yeah, it's insane.
I think that's the fastest offense I've ever seen. They are flying. Okay? And it's Quentin Gibson, yes. The offensive MVP. You saw him there. Unreal. But it's Cornelius Warren. Mm-hmm. It's Daniel Bray. It's everybody on this team. Chris Jemerson, the quarterback. They can all fly. And Eli Reinhardt, their offensive coordinator, in his bag in this one.
Oh, he was just out there having a blast, man.
He's out there cooking them up.
There was nothing that they couldn't do. The last touchdown to Quentin Gibson to get his feet in like that,
Unreal. And they're going for it.
Awesome.
And the thing is, it's very clear to me. I think there are some Westlake fans who might be sore because they're going for it on 4th down. They wanted 50.
Oh, yeah.
They wanted to make a statement. They wanted to go out there and in the words of Black Panther, is this your king?
Yeah.
Like, they wanted to go out and proclaim themselves as one of the greatest offenses in Texas high school football history. And you know what?
Yep.
Let's have a talk. And by the way, think about the road they get there to get there. In the final 4 weeks of the playoffs, they beat unbeaten Coppell, they beat unbeaten Allen, they beat unbeaten Duncanville, and they beat Westlake like that.
There was no one stopping them. There was no one stopping them.
Whoa. And by the way, let's not overlook the defense, which I thought played really well. They were very fast themselves. And Westlake got a little, they struck early and thought, okay, maybe we get into a shootout. But it became clear that these offenses were not the same.
No, and they're being led by an incredible quarterback in Reese Wise. That offense can go.
He's a warrior, man.
Yeah.
He's a warrior. And I think they just ran into a juggernaut. I think plain and simple, they just ran into a buzzsaw. And for Ray Gates, it is the culmination of a 3-year climb, taking over a program that was at best also ran and turning them into a champion in 3 years. Ray Gates is one of the best coaches in Texas high school football. That's not an opinion. And that is a remarkable football team. A remarkable football team. And the best team in 6A. And if you wanted to make I said earlier that Gordon can lay a claim to being the best pound-for-pound team in Texas high school football. It's obviously an extremely weird comparison, but like North Crowley's the other candidate for that. Okay? A dominant performance and a more than worthy state champion. I mean, the reason it's 6 is because it wasn't competitive, but like from an electricity perspective, one of the most electrifying games of the weekend. Just watching that offense cook. I mean, Cornelius Warren had 200 yards rushing, and he's like, yeah, of course he did. Everyone did. The offense was unbelievable. I can't believe it. North Crowley wins, just like I predicted.
I tried to tell you. We did have that conversation after you called the Westlake game. I was like, nope, he's hungover on watching Westlake beat North Shore. I was like, nope.
Yep. I was extremely wrong.
Yeah.
I've been wrong. I've been wronger, but
that was the only glaringly wrong take that I knew you were wrong about going into this.
Do you know what I compare it to? Last year I picked Toller to beat Tempson.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah. I did too, I think.
And I've been wronger about a game. Mm-hmm. I have never been, much like that game.
As shockingly.
As sure, as quickly that I was wrong as I was with this one. Where it's just like, oh, nope, I'm wrong. I'm way wrong.
North Crowley is a Dave Campbell's Texan Live school, which clearly if you join Texan Live, then you immediately win a state championship. So
hearing that
hit
more
me
and
up.
more.
But I have watched so many of their games. I was like, there's no way. They're not losing this game.
It was unbelievable.
I want one of those For the City shirts. Those were sick.
They were. And what a team. What a team. Into the top 5. Number 5.
Spradling to the near side. Lowers his shoulder. Kate Spradling is in. Touchdown, Smithson Valley.
It wasn't easy. He got knocked around 2 or 3 times before he got into the end zone or crossed the goal line. Take another look. Good blocking up front.
Yes, he's in.
Yeah.
The second effort from Cade Spradling for his 20th touchdown run of the year. They will go for two to try and make it a 14-point lead. 3:39 to play.
Smithson Valley 32, Highland Park 20 in the 5A Division I state championship game. I might have sent that to you wrong. I did. I sent that to you wrong. 5A D1. That's on me.
Good. I should have recognized that.
And we'll talk about the historic element of it first. Let's talk about the game first. This is a whale of a ball game.
It was great.
Like, if you want to know how well played this ball game was, here comes Ashley Pickle with a fun fact. You know exactly what fun fact I'm thinking of, right?
I'm sorry. I wasn't listening. Start over.
If you want to know exactly how well this game was played, here's Ashley Pickle with a fun fact.
There was not a penalty until 31 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and it was an intentional delay of game by Smithson Valley to push them back a little bit. Insane. The most well-played, clean ball game I've ever seen. 31 seconds, and it was intentional.
I mean, what else would you expect from two coaches with nearly 800 career wins to their name?
That's wild.
They were just pristine football. Pristine football. I think Ish is head now. Bye, Ish.
Bye, Shmuel. Merry Christmas, Shmuel.
Merry Christmas, Shmuel. I thought that this was a game that if you are just an offensive line fan and like defensive line fan and you just want to watch them go at it, this was a stalemate.
This
for
is
a lot
a Greg
of that
Powers game.
Real Greg Powers game. And the difference in this ball game was twofold. I actually had, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this.
Sure, just air it all out.
No, I won't. I won't say who. I had somebody around the Highland Park program come to me after the game and say they out Highland Parked us.
Mm-hmm.
That's a game that Highland Park wins.
Gritty.
32-20. Gritty, gutty, winning on the margins, coming up with a big play, grinding you out, grinding you into a fine pace, coming up with a big defensive play. There were two things like that were twofold here. One was that the Smithson Valley defense stood on its head and came up with big play after big play. Julian Kalunga gets the big pick six, which ends up being a huge difference maker in this ballgame and really shapes the entirety of this ballgame. The defense came up with big opportunistic plays, plain and simple, including snuffing out that fake punt there early in the game.
Yeah, that was
That's
awesome.
Underrated. That's a huge, huge play. There's that. And two, I love Brad Sowersby, plain and simple. But Smithson Valley had Cade Spradling.
He was a difference maker. Sowersby on the edge is insane. The moment he gets out into the edge, it is over. It is so over.
He's a lot of fun to watch.
But
this is about Cade Spradling.
Yeah, he was incredible in every part of the field.
I think I put this on Twitter. What I call the Doug Brooks zone.
Yeah.
Okay. is I think there are players at the state championship games who become folk heroes, who like they put on a performance and it just goes beyond their numbers, beyond what they do, and just like you just had to be there and watch them. Cade Spradling is in the Doug Brooks zone, a folk hero now, to lower the shoulder and drive Smithson Valley to their first ever state championship game, and just a warrior, the offensive MVP. His numbers again are good, but they don't tell the whole tale. He only threw for 61 yards in a score. He ran for 147 in a score, but he ran the ball 25 times into the teeth of that Highland Park defense. This was just a crisply played football game, and Smithson Valley wins it. And it is the final checkbox for Larry Hill at long last. 0-4 in title games heading into this ball game. 0-4. Agonizingly close. Lost an overtime game to Denton Ryan. Lost on a field goal to South Lake Carroll. He's come so close. And finally, he gets that state championship. And he came dangerously close to smiling.
Do you know
Larry Hill? If you don't know, Larry Hill is very famously like stoic. He came very close to smiling.
I don't know if you realize this. I said it on the broadcast, but Larry Hill has been at Smithson Valley. This is his 32nd season. He scored 32 points in the state championship to win it.
Man.
It's hard to write.
I know.
You can't write a better story than that. 32 points after 32 years.
If you don't know, they have a big board at Smithson Valley where they keep all their all the the years they've done
accolades.
things like state semifinalists, like these, like every year they have it on there, and they've had a blank there for state champions. And it was Larry Hill when they got home who climbed the ladder and put that up there, and you just feel great for him.
It was awesome.
One of the greatest coaches in Texas high school football history, and now he's minted. He's got a ring to show for it, and a gutty, gritty, use all those words efforts in a hard-nosed, physical football game. Just good theater on Saturday morning. It's the 5th best game. Number 4.
Simply a must for the Dragons. Renda rifles, incomplete. He wanted Gunner. CJ Mooring had the coverage. Drew Sanders' defense rises up again.
Well, they've rode the back of this defense all season long. It's done a tremendous job all season long. They only averaged 13 points allowed, only allowed 14 points today, one more than their season average. And Ted, I think it's going to be more than enough here. This is a great job of this defense. Trying to punch it in here to South Lake Carroll late in the game to get back within clawing distance of this ball game. Come up with a huge defensive stop inside the 10-yard line. What an effort.
Do you think there should...
Vandergrift 24, South Lake Carroll 17 rather, in the 6A Division II state championship game, the penultimate game of the Texas high school season. And this was a really fun ball game with, I don't know if there were twists and turns, but there were big plays, certainly to be had. If you remember, South Lake Carroll drives down. They go on a 7-play, 74-yard drive and score to go up 7-0 in the first quarter. 2 plays later, Miles Teodecki hits George Farley on an 84-yard touchdown pass, and we are rolling. The defenses in this ballgame were the dominant forces in this one. I thought the South Lake Carroll defense, when they were able to get pressure, they were good. Jack Van Dorselaer, who's the tight end who's going to Tennessee, who's playing defensive end for South Lake Carroll, a menace. Long, lean, hard to block. He's fun to watch. The Dragon defense, I thought, played really, really well in this ball game. I thought that for Vandegrift, a lot of the difference makers, like Miles Teodecki was the offensive MVP, and certainly I'm not here to argue with that. Brendan Fournier, their running back, I think you very easily could have given it to him. He runs for 2 touchdowns, and the numbers aren't overwhelming. I mean, it's 160 yards and a score.
But they were at such crucial moments.
Yeah, and the score 1. Oh, and then he had a touchdown catch, too. That's it. And he had a touchdown catch. But he was the constant. It was the drumbeat. And I thought that him running the ball, I thought that he helped to wear down a little bit this South Lake defense a little bit. And that was a little bit of a difference. I thought Miles Teodecki, I love this kid. I think he's a lot of fun to watch. And went 14 of 17. He was perfect in the first half. He made a couple big boy throws in this game. Of course, this is going to be about the Vandegrift defense, which took on a South Lake Carroll attack and held them to, got it right here. Well, they did give up 404 yards of offense. But it was bend, don't break. And when they got into the red zone, they bowed their neck a couple of times. There you saw it. But the defense also, they did what they have done all year long. They took the ball away. They had 3 takeaways. They finished the year with 39 takeaways on the year, does Vandegrift. And that's what they do. They come up with those big splash plays. And it's Drew Sanders calling the defense still as the head coach.
Oh, yeah.
He's calling the defense. He's out there signaling into his guys. You saw him celebrating there. And I thought the defense was masterful in this ball game. And it was back and forth. Vandegrift really took command of this game with 6:51 to play when they got a 30-yard field goal. I think it's Nathan Calbert, Noah Calbert. Kicked a 33-yard field goal to put him up by 10. South Lake Carroll drove down, and I thought this was a little interesting, but they went for it on that 4th down. They're down 10. They could have kicked an extra point, or a field goal to go down 7 with there's about 3 minutes left in that ballgame.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, they go for it. And I think there are people who are going to ask, why did Riley Dodge go for it? I'll tell you why. I think he's thinking, I don't know if we're going to get this close again.
Yeah.
Because of the way that this defense was clamping down on them. I don't necessarily hate the decision to go for it there, to go for the touchdown, because you're on the 6, right? You're close. You might, if you just may not get that close again. And that, to me, you've got to make that call. It was, they're on the Vandegrift 5-yard line. And I think he's just thinking, I don't know if we're going to get this close again. Which, by the way, that what Vandegrift had, South Lake Carroll had 1st and goal at the 1. 1st and goal at the 1. Angelo Renda dropped for a 4-yard loss. Incomplete pass, broken up by Scott Buchanan, defensive MVP. Incomplete pass, broken up by Scott Buchanan. Incomplete pass, broke up by Mooring. Bowing your neck. Championship stuff from the Vipers, defensively. For Drew Sanders, the first state championship in program history, a program he built from the studs up. Mm-hmm. You feel great for him. You feel great for that Vandegrift community to bring a state championship back to Austin and win a title. So now we kind of we're into the top 3. And this is where we get to the banger zone. Mm-hmm. Bangers only. And I want to be clear, these next 3, if you want to put them really in any order, I won't be mad at you.
Some of these can go down as some of the best games we've seen in a long time in the state championship.
These are some heaters. Number 3.
6. Carney inside the 5. Driving to the end zone. Touchdown, Munster. Kason Carney's 4th touchdown of the night. And Munster back in front with 40 seconds to go.
This is where champions are made. Kason Carney will not be denied. He battles and he scraps and he wants it. In for 6. Hornets in front.
And he got some help from a Waldershide. Colt Waldershide helped push him in there. Now,
Munster 36, Shiner 29 in the 2A Division II state championship game. Wednesday night affair. First 11-man game. And we got done with this game. And all of us went up to each other. And we had just come off those 2 6-man games, which had been controlled demolitions.
We only played 15 minutes into the second half.
50 seconds in the second half. And then we get this one. And all of us kind of looked at each other like, yeah, we'll take 9 more of those.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
We get 9 more of those.
We were juiced up Wednesday night.
This game just rocked.
It was so good. It was so good.
It was well played. It was pretty clean.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard hitting. It was like buttons being pushed on both sides by both coaches. There was a chess match in play. This game was so much fun. So much fun. Let alone the fact that it came down to the wire.
Mm-hmm. That touchdown was with 40 seconds left.
So Shiner takes the lead. I believe that. So what was great about this is that the first half and really all game, Munster would throw a punch, and Shiner immediately had a response. Immediately, and the youngsters on this Shiner team, they've got some freshmen who are playing really important roles for them.
Yep.
Okay, they got to replace Carson Schutte, their quarterback, who's a dog, but like. That team's young. They're going to be back. And the running game, Quincy Jones, I thought was great in this ball game. Carson Schutte was a warrior. They handed the ball off to Clayton Fritz a fair amount. Caleb Leonard, Tristan Vesley. They had this stable of backs that were working, and it was fun to watch. That offense, when they get going, they're fun. And they were outsized by Munster. Munster was pretty clearly bigger than them, but they found a way. Like I asked Coach Daniel Bedeker in the lead up about their offensive lines. Like, when I think of your offensive lines, I think of like undersized, but they'll fight you to the gates of hell. And he's like, that's exactly what we are. And that offense got humming. Carson Schutte threw a 4th down dot to Jarvis Williams, a freshman, on 4th down to tie the ball game. This game was awesome. Punch, counter punch, punch, counter punch, punch, counter punch. Final play of the third quarter, Shiner takes the lead. Their first lead of the ball game. Do you remember? Schutte runs in for the touchdown, and then on the extra point, I think they were offside.
Yep.
So they get to the 1.5, and Daniel Becker's like,
"We're going for
go for 2." Sure enough, they get the 2. Carson Schutte runs in for the 2. They have their first lead of the ball game. It stays that way until the 4th, until late in the 4th. And now we have to talk about the key component, the offensive MVP, the Mr. Everything for Munster in Cason Carney.
He's so good.
He's good. He's fun. He's gutty. He's tough.
He's not scared to get hit, man.
He
is
will
not scared to get hit.
He keeps the legs driving. He runs the ball into the teeth of this defense 35 times. 35 carries. He only averages 4.2 yards a carry, and he is getting clobbered by this physical Shiner defense. He also goes 15 to 20 for 121 yards, or 171 yards through the air. And that final touchdown, like what I appreciate about, and certainly it's 2A, and he knows his team very well. Brady Carney was not thinking field goal.
No.
He's going, we're going for the touchdown here. And you dance with the one that brung you. It got to, me and Craig were on the call, and it got to the point where it's like, they're like inside the 30. Pull up the drive chart here. They're inside the 30. Yeah. And I'm like, or no, they got a great punt return by Mitchell Bayer, Maverick Bayer, who got down into the 20. And they got down to the 13-yard line, and I said the ball is not leaving Cason Carney's hands the rest of the game. And sure enough, it wasn't. 3 consecutive Cason Carney rushes. The last one gets him the touchdown on the 4th down, or on the final play, to put him up with 40 seconds to go. And then Shiner ain't going away. Remember, Shiner gets the ball to the Munster 40 with a minute to play, or I'm sorry, a couple seconds to play. And they throw a Hail Mary, and it's intercepted by Ethan Hinton for the state championship. But did you see who tipped it? Who tipped the ball to Hinton? I'm scrambling because I get the replay, and I've got my spotter boards out, and I've got my defensive spotter board up for the Munster defense, and gets tipped up and into the hands of Hinton. I go, Hinton with the interception, and it's tipped up by number 6. Like, I'm just looking. I'm like, who's number 6? He's now on my depth chart. It's Cason Carney out there playing defense on the Hail Mary. A state championship for Brady Carney with his kid at the helm. He was a water boy the last time they played in a title game. Just magic stuff in an absolute game. We're gonna say this about another game. A game nobody deserved to lose.
Yep.
A game nobody deserved to lose.
Good football game.
What just a stinking good football game. Oh, great game. We're now on number 2. Number 2.
The running backs, Mikael Trotter, this time pulling it back in. Kopecky, and he'll take it in for the score. Carter Kopecky just sprinted around the corner. He goes 22 yards for the touchdown, just like Keelan Sweeney did on that prior possession for Randall.
Just as dangerous as anybody you want to kick it to, go ahead, kick it to me at your own peril. And that's exactly what he does to the South Oak Cliff kickoff coverage unit. Takes it to the house. Wow.
A lot of momentum shifting throughout the course of this. Cesar Oliveira, who is 6 for 6 this season. A 45-yarder for the tie, and the kick is no good. Time has run out. There's a brand new state champion of 5A Division II football in Texas. It's the Randall Lions. Incredible ending to an amazing football game.
Randall 38, South Oak Cliff 35 in the 5A Division II state championship game. A lot to talk about here.
It was entertaining.
This had real Highland Park Manville vibes.
Yeah.
At times, of just like big haymakers being thrown back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. If you look at the box score, if you're just a box score scout, there is no way you see a Randall win here. None. They got outgained more than 2-1. Okay? They got outgained 461 yards to 211. The box score is a no contest. The box score is a butt kicking and South Oak Cliff winning their 3rd title in 4 years. But they don't play the game in the box score. They play the game on the football field. South Oak Cliff had the superior offense. South Oak Cliff had the superior defense.
But
Randall
capitalized.
Won on the margins. Okay?
Their like attention to detail was so good, from special teams to defense to taking. They were the crazy man in the fight, and it worked. And they're good, but it worked.
I kind of still can't believe they won that game, and I'll tell you why. It is because it is so rare to see a team get outgained by 250 yards, and yet to dominate on the margins. Absolutely dominate in the margins. The special teams, they get 2 kickoff returns for touchdown. They capitalize on a muffed punt, and they capitalize on a missed field goal. They absolutely dominated this game on special teams and on field position.
Yep.
The field leverage here was a huge advantage for Randall. They only had, on their touchdown drives, okay? Their touchdown drives, they had the kickoff return. They went 21-yard touchdown drive, 43-yard field goal drive, 41-yard touchdown drive, 38-yard touchdown drive, and a kickoff return. They dominated on the field position game. They dominated on special teams, and it won them a ball game. And it won them a state championship. I was really impressed by the Randall defense. You can see it. Like, Chase Sims is an animal. The defense is unbelievable. They fly. They're so fast. South Oak Cliff was getting their numbers, obviously. They had nearly 500 yards total offense. But the defense was winning when it mattered most. And they were coming up with Big South Spybrook. They were winning when it matters most. I thought that, obviously, bye, Rev. Rev, you heading out? You heading out? Bye, River.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, River. Sorry, I'm staying by my friend River. They dominated on the margins. And I thought South Oak Cliff's time management in the final drive left a lot to be desired. Mm-hmm. They get the ball, and they only had one timeout. They get a touchdown run called back for a hold, which I thought was a good call. They called back for the touchdown. They kind of kept trying to run the ball. They took the ball out of Carter Kopecki's hands, and they end up having to settle for kind of a 43-yard fire drill field goal, which I just don't think there's a reasonable expectation you can put on a kicker to make that.
No, you can't run the ball after burning your last time out.
I thought the time management was a little baffling here. And for Randall, like, they pulled the rabbit out of their hat. Like,
that was incredible. I mean, Brian Randall had his team coached up. You know what I'm saying?
Unbelievable.
Like, it was a
Unbelievable
masterclass coaching job of just like, hey, we're not as big, we're not as physical, we're not as fast. Like, everything points in the direction of not us. But what we can do is do the little things right and capitalize on them and see if we can go out here and win that game. And they did.
And they won the little things.
They
That's exactly
did.
it.
They were locked in.
The other thing about this, Landon Williams-Callis, their running back, was
he's awesome.
won 101 yards and a touchdown in this ball game.
I believe
Keelan Sweeney was also
I
awesome
think he's in the
too.
comments, by the way.
Keelan Sweeney threw for a touchdown, ran for a touchdown, and caught a touchdown pass, which rocks. Landon Williams-Callis had a long touchdown run that was called back for a hold, which, again, I think I saw the replay. I see what they were driving at. Your mileage may vary. But that was our only time we got to see him like in the open field. Bro. He's running away from South Oak Cliff defenders. South Oak Cliff defenders who have an angle on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was an audible gasp in the stadium when he, like, started pulling away, like, whoa. Oh,
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, this guy's built different.
A state championship for Randall. An unbelievable
in
team.
their third year as a program.
In an unbelievable team win.
In which his dad, or the coach, is coaching at the school that is named after his dad. Like, there were so many storylines for this one.
It was absolutely box office. Spectacular stuff. And Randall, a very deserving champion in what I think will go down as one of the most just wildest games we've seen in a long time. It's a great ball game. A lot of fun to watch going back and forth. It was not my number one game of the weekend. Number one!
Houston 10, leading Logan Burris. Ullman's going to keep it himself this time, out the back door. Ullman helicoptered in for the touchdown. Did he really get in?
They may look at it, but Bryce Ullman, everything he's got, will go airborne here. We'll check the mark. I don't know if the ball is across, but the ruling is on the field. Well, he might have gotten it.
Number 10, but out on the field facing 4th and 4 for the championship. Duran rolling out. Fires downfield, end zone, wide open for the touchdown. Clay Whitfield on the receiving end. Stanford an extra point away from tying it back up.
Oh, what a play call from Wes Hutchinson and Wayne Hutchinson. They fake the flood to the left, and they leak out Clay Whitfield across the grain. And what wherewithal from Christian Duran to sell it, then turn and fire to his man in the middle of the end zone. Oh, wow.
They have to match or if they have a chance to win. What's your best play call, Josh Irvin? Ullman rolling, end zone. What a catch! Austin Pena hauls it in. 2 for Ganado.
Oh, Austin Pena climbs the ladder to bring it in at the critical moment. Let's take a look again. They do some eye candy here. He's under pressure, and what a grab, full extension. Yes, sir.
Outstanding. Duran with Vega to his right. The reverse. Looking to throw it. End zone, it's intercepted. Ganado wins the state championship. Bryce Ullman picks it off to end it. a game that lived up to every expectation. It is the man who elevated this program in Bryce Ullman.
Ganado 30, Stanford 28 in triple overtime for the 2A Division I state championship. There are some games that you're just like, I'm just really glad I'm here. I'm just really glad I get to watch this. And this is on that short list of games for me.
Yep.
Like North Shore Duncanville 2018, Highland Park Manville, Longview Westbrook, couple of others. Those are ones that really spring to mind. That Navasota Argyle game.
Jim Ned Hallettsville was
Jim Ned Hallettsville.
incredible.
And this is on that short list. This is the longest overtime game in UIL Texas High School State Championship history.
And I wanted it to keep going, to be honest with you.
A game nobody deserved to lose. I don't even know where to start. I will say this, and I told this to people before. I think Ganado was the better team, but Stanford would not go away. Every time they were dead to rights, they came up with a huge play. And like Caston Vega, their star running back and linebacker, pretty clearly not right. Pretty clearly didn't have his burst. I don't care. Watch that defense. On defense, he's running around like a crazy person. And Christian Duran, their quarterback, Clay Whitfield, the weaponry they've got, they're so much fun to watch. Their defense laid it out on the line. This was a awesome performance from Stanford. Ganado, I guess we might as well get to the point. It's Bryce Ullman.
Yeah.
There's no point in dancing.
No.
He'll never buy a meal in Ganado, Texas again.
He was incredible. He was absolutely incredible.
I thought that, again, from a pound-for-pound perspective, you could put him up there with any player we saw as far as being most valuable to his team in this ballgame. He was spectacular in this ballgame. There was a throw he made, I think you know what I'm talking about, into triple coverage, basically, in the end zone. There's one place to put it. One place. And he put it there. On the run. On the money. Unbelievable. Ganado lines up for a 22-yard field goal to win this game at the end of regulation. And the kicker hooks it. And this is me, okay? As somebody who doesn't have a dog in the fight. I know Stanford fans were happy that it went wide. I never, ever, 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 ever want it to come down to a missed kick.
No.
Ever. Ever.
No.
I want every kick to be good. Every kick. Because you don't want that to be on you.
No.
They go to overtime. They trade overtime. By the way, that helicopter touchdown got ruled down at the 1, but rule of cool. That's why I put it in the highlight package.
Correct.
Rule of cool. It should have been a touchdown. Stanford has an answer on that incredible fake flood play, which is incredible. They trade stops in the second overtime, and then they go to the third. And Austin Pena, that catch.
Oh, it was
They might build a statue about that.
Yeah.
That was
It was nasty.
box office stuff. Great throw from Ullman. And then, of course, Stanford goes with the Philly special in double overtime. And they've got it snuffed out. And who else but Bryce Ullman comes up with a state championship winning interception. An unbelievable ball game.
It was great.
Logan Burris was so good. Caston Vega was so good. Braden Jimenez.
Burris is only a sophomore.
Braden Jimenez, the receiver for Stanford, was so good. Kane Hayden, the wide receiver for Ganado, was so good.
He was incredible in the first half. That's why they stayed in the game.
A game nobody deserved to lose.
Instant classic.
Instant classic. A game we're going to be talking about for a long time. And Josh Irvin, age 30, brings Ganado their first ever state championship.
Very cool moment.
It was my game of the weekend. I think it's a game we're going to be talking about for a long, long time. Ganado 30, Stanford 28 in triple overtime. A heart stopper. And my game of the weekend of the state championships. Other than that, though,
Not much going
I don't
on.
really have any whole thoughts. Let's go to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
This is it, the last show of the year. So thank you to everybody again. I know we say it every year, but we couldn't do what we do if it wasn't for y'all and tuning in and listening and reading and all of that stuff. So from the Dave Campbell's family to y'all to everybody else, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. We're gonna try and get at least an ounce of sleep, but just always grateful at this time of year for everybody who tunes in and listens to our yapping.
We literally could not and would not do this show if you guys didn't watch or listen. So we really appreciate you guys spending part of your day with us. It's part
and
of
a shout out to the whole Dave Campbell's team for all the work last week.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's a lot of content, but we hope that y'all enjoyed it.
TexasFootball.com/state. By the way, Friday, TexasFootball.com, noon, we will be announcing the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year Award.
Let's go.
Keep an eye out for that. We are back January 6th. Monday, January 6th. We're going to take a couple weeks off, and I'm going to try to remember my kids' names.
Fair.
It's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook. Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram. Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please get your Player of the Year trophy. We will see you in 2025 on Texas Football Today.